everybody! Can everyone hear me okay? Okay. Can everybody hear me all right? Everybody good? Good evening. Hope everybody can hear me. Please text or message me if you can hear me in the live. So tonight, sorry, I was waiting for everybody to join in. So tonight we're going to be doing a Choose Your Own Adventure program. My name is Victoria. I'm, a library assistant at the Neva Lomas Memorial Library. I'm the crafty librarian, so this is me. I hope you all are doing well. I hope everybody is brave the storms okay. And most of all, I hope all of you can hear me. So hopefully you can hear me. So tonight we are going to be doing a Choose Your Own Adventure book. We're going to be reading it together. Let me see. Okay. So here we go. You are Jamie, a young villager with a love for a enchanted forest that everyone else fears. You'll find a secret power that now rules Castle Pentagarn. The paths you take may take you beyond the pillars are many, and the choices are yours. Only you can decide whether the wizard Pentagarn regains his kingdom. You will fight a dragon skeleton. Will you fight a dragon skeleton with the brave fighter Baltic at your side? Will you try to trick an evil master who controls the Castle Pentagarn? Or will you run down a passage into the unknown followed by a lovely thief Lydia? All right, so here we go. A scaly bark-covered hand wraps its long, thin fingers around your shoulders. A wispy voice whispers. That's a tongue twister I ever heard one. Oh, I'm sideways? Oh, apparently I'm sideways. Hang on one sec. Thank you. All right, we are back, I think. All right, is that better, everybody? Is that good? Okay, hopefully that's better. Sorry about that. I have never done this before. Mandy is the one who mostly does all of our live stream. Clearly, as you can tell, I am not as technologically advanced. So, do we want to pick up where I left off, or do we want to go ahead and continue from here? I guess we're just going to go ahead and continue. There might be a delay on my side, so don't mind me. So here you go. All right. A scaly bark-covered hand wraps its long, thin fingers around your shoulder. A wispy voice whispers. That's a tongue twister if I ever heard one. Ooh, you know what we forgot? Most importantly, when you're going on adventure, our adventurer's hat. Here we go. Yay! All right. Excuse me, friend. I need to tidy up around you. Your friend Trees lowers a branch and you climb on eagerly. You're always happy to rest in Trees' branches and watch your friends scurry about the forest. You are Jamie, a young villager living at the edge of the mysterious forest. Although the people of your village fear the woods and tell tales of its woodland terrors and ferocious beasts lurking in these woods, you have spent your happiest moments rambling through the forest, climbing in Trees' craggy trunk, and playing with your friends Fox and Owl. I want a friend Fox and Owl. How about you? Like that's a goal in my life. I don't know about you, but that's something I need in my life. While Trees' leafy fingers straighten flower stems and brushes his knobby roots, you listen to him discuss a party of adventurers with Fox and Owl. I thought them an exceptional group, Tree says. They built their campfire and they gathered only dead wood. They did not break any of my branches, nor did they carve my bark. When they left, they put out their fire and cleaned their campsite. Good job to those adventurers. Well, I think they're heading for trouble, says Fox. I followed them when they left this morning and when they went off toward the river, but then they backtracked towards the Pillars of Pentagarn. Yes, that's how we're going to read it the entire time, because reasons. Owl gasps, "The Pillars of Pentagarns! Surely you are mistaken." "No way, Bird Brain," Fox snaps. "Do you think I have this nose for nothing? I can track anything, and their little tricks aren't going to fool me. If I say they're going to the Pillars of Pentagarn, that's where they're going." There's a long silence. The Pillars of Pentagarn lie in the forest, the forest's most frightening part. The most frightening part of the forest. I just can't get that sentence right. Bear with me. "Not even the bravest creatures go there. Hide," Tree says suddenly. "Fast, I see goblins coming up the path." You jump down and skitter under a brush. Owl flutters high into Tree's branches. Fox hides behind a rock and then changes his mind and runs for the forest. He is in plain sight when goblins march into the clearing. Without pausing, the goblins throw their spears at Fox. He yelps and runs into the brushes. The spears misses him, but they thud solidly into Tree, whose breeze-like groans pass unheard by monsters. "Missed," grunts one. "Doesn't matter. Fox tastes bad," answers another. "Leave Fox alone. Leave Brittany alone." Wait, no one here is gonna get that joke unless you're older. Don't worry about it. It's a meme. I don't know. Don't care about taste? Hunting is the funnest part. No. The largest goblin rips its spear out of the tree, then drops on all fours and sniffs the ground. "Girl's scarf," it says, picking up a white kerchief. They've been here close now. The goblins crowd round, their leader pushing and shoving each other. Finally, the largest goblin pushes its way out of the crowd, runs down the trail toward the river. The others follow quickly. When the last goblin pounds down the path, they scurry out beneath your brush. You scurry out beneath your brush and rush the Tree. He moans softly, and his branches sway in pain. You inspect the wounds and plug them with wet, clean moss. The flow of sap slowly stops. Tree has calmed, and only on an occasional movement of his branches tell you he suffers great pain. Owl climbs down as soon as you finish patching Tree's trunk. A goblin spear missed his left wing. "Do not be overly concerned," gasped Owl. "They just winged me." They winged him. The spear clipped his wing. It's a pun. I don't like puns. They're the lowest form of comedy, at least in my opinion. Moving on. Oh, and here you are tending to Owl. So there you are. Fox returns, inspects his wounded friend. "Wow, can you imagine what they'll do to those adventurers?" he asked. "I don't want to think about it," you say. "But you must," urges Tree. "If we don't warn them, they won't stand a chance. We must do something." "Don't look at me. I can't warn them," Fox says. "You're the only human I'm on speaking terms with." Fox is correct, Owl says. "You are the only human I have ever met who talks to animals. It would be useless for Fox or myself to attempt to warn them, for they would not understand us. You must warn them, Jamie." Okay, so now we're getting into the fun part. So we get to make some choices. Yay! So we have two choices. Number one, I am not pun. Well, I was about to joke there. I don't want to y'all are not going to get me to pun. We're going to stay on track. Anyways, we're at decisions now. So the goblins are heading toward the adventurers, and the adventurers are heading to the Pillars of Pentagarn. So we have two choices. Choice number one, do we warn the adventurers of their dangers and we turn to page 100? Or do we return home deciding we're too frightened to risk meeting the goblins, turn to page 9? So comment if you want to go do option 1, so just comment number 1 or comment number 2. So what do we want to do, folks? And give me a moment if there's a lag. So what is our choice? Are we doing number 1? Ah, I see it now. So we want to warn the adventurers of their danger. Is that correct? I'm going to give everybody one more moment to respond. Option 1. So I think we have a majority thus far, so we're going to go ahead and do option 1. All right, so we're flipping to page 100. Doody 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 do. No. All right. I'll do it, you say? I'll show you a shortcut to the pillars of Pentagon. Fox volunteers. Allow me to ride on your shoulder, Jamie, Owl says, and I too shall accompany you. You hold out your arm and Owl climbs up to your shoulder. Following Fox, you enter the forest. After 20 minutes, you come to a tall stand of trees. Brambles and briars grow entwined around the base of a tall, gnarled trees. You push your way through and see that the forest stops at your feet. The ground in front of you is sticky, burnt gray. Several large pillars rise like thick white fingers from the blackened earth. Their tops are broken and jagged, and huge pieces lie strewn about the clearing. An opening gapes. Apparently I'm stumbling there. Pardon me. An opening gapes near the base of the pillars like a missing tooth in a jack-o'-lantern. You see 3 sets of footprints leading into the opening. As you peer the opening, a squeal breaks from the forest and you turn to see goblins racing from the tangle. So here you are looking at the pillars of Pentagon. I almost didn't do it dramatically. How dare I? So here you are. And then now we're going to turn back to page 24. This is how a lot of these older adventure books are, where you're kind of going back and forth. It's a lot of fun, though, because every time you read them, they're not going to be the same. And I'm going to take a little sippy sip drink of my tea. And we shall continue. Choking back your fear, you duck under the pillars and enter the darkness. Glancing back, you see the goblins hard on your heels. When the goblin cries, echoing the passage, you run as fast as you can. Even though you have trouble seeing, luckily your long legs outstride the goblins as you race down the corridor. But your breath soon rasps in your throat. You cannot last much longer without rest. As you round the corner, a crumbling staircase rises upward into the darkness. The passage splits, and the bottom leads both left and right. You lean against the staircase and try to catch your breath. Pressing your fingers against the stone wall, you feel ancient stone carvings under your hands, and cries of goblin draw closer. Well, Featherhead, pants Fox, got any ideas now? This is my absolute opinion that the carving moves under your fingers, and a section of the staircase opens without warning. You fall backward into the darkness. Hey, Fox cries, wait for me. He slips through the opening. The wall quickly snaps shut, and darkness closes around you. The dark is thicker and more complete than any you've ever known. Goblin feet pound up the stairway, and you are hiding under, and there is a long silence. Finally, Fox says, I don't know how to tell you this, but we're not alone. That is correct, a deep voice says. Who's there? You demand, trying to sound brave. In answer, a burst of brilliant light fills the room. A wrinkled old man leans on a staff in front of you. It's Gandalf! Wait, no, wrong book. He seems more ancient and frail than anyone you've ever seen. A bright torch light leaps out from his staff. Maybe it is Gandalf. Maybe it's Discount Gandalf. That's what we're going to call this guy, Discount Gandalf. He seems, alright, we already got that point. A young fighter stands out on the old man's right, pointing his sword at you. His battle-scarred old armor and bulging muscles tells you he is not someone to anger. A beautiful elven maiden stands on the left. Bright red hair hangs to her waist. Her hand rests on a polished dagger handle, and she watches you intently with bright green eyes. Oh boy, mutters Fox, we're in for it now. Patient, Fox says, or Owl says, Patient Fox, I have found hasty judgment leads to disaster. So remember, always think first. I'm not always good about that, but remember that. I can't think of anything more disastrous than dying, he answers. So here they are. So there's Discount Gandalf and his 2 companions. That's what we're gonna go by. Because I said so. Fox, Owl, cries the old man in a papery dry voice. Do not waste your strength arguing with each other. Neither the fighter Baltic or the elven thief Lydia will harm you. That's some weird exposition, don't you think? You stand in amazement as Fox and Owl stop arguing and walk across the floor to the floor toward the old man. They understood the old man, and he understood them. Surprised, child? He asked. Don't be. Like you, I can speak with animals, so those with me, he pauses, and you back away from him. Don't worry, Jamie, he continues. He knows your name! Gasp. I am not one to fear. Come sit beside me. I shall tell you and your friends everything you need to know. He holds out his hand, and his eyes are kindly and intelligent, and hold all the strength his body lacks. Without a word, you cross the small space between you and clasp his waiting hand. Fixing his gentle yet powerful gaze on you, he begins. Although it seems unlikely, this was once a most beautiful place. There were no goblins, no monsters, no death, no destruction. The fields were fertile, the people were prosperous and happy and blessed. My name is King Pentegarn. Okay, so he's not get discount Gandalf anymore. Although I was wise and a good king, I did not do it alone. I was aided by a great magical staff. I was given to me by my father, who received it from his father before him, who received it from his father before. I think we get the gist. They keep on receiving it from their fathers past. It contains the magic and knowledge of all those lifetimes. Unfortunately, in the hands of evil, it can be used with terrible results, as you see by this foul ruin. On one night as I slept, a black fog covered the kingdom. By the time we discovered this was a magical fog, it was too late. It had cloaked from the coming of the evil one. The evil one! Maybe we'll have to say that one dramatically too. What do you think? In the darkness of the magic fall, the evil master crept into my castle and stole my magic staff. When the sun rose, it could not pierce the black gloom. Most of my people fled in fear, and those who stayed to fight were killed by the black cloud. I fought desperately, but without my staff, I was all but helpless. At last, I almost lost my place. I neared total exhaustion. All about me was ruin. I was forced to leave my own kingdom, though I was too weak to battle my unseen foe any longer. I vowed I would return. Year after year, I have returned, seeking to defeat the evil one, because apparently we want me to do dramatic voices. We wanted to defeat the evil one and regain what is rightfully mine. This is my last attempt. The staff holds much of my strength, and without it, I grow weaker. So here's King Pentegarn, aka Discount Gandalf, sleeping in his bed. Oh, we're getting close to another choice, so stay tuned. Well, you're staying tuned. Let's move on. Yet, if I die, there will be nothing to stop the enemy. He pauses, then adds, it must be stopped now. Oh, I don't know if everybody can see the book, but sorry. Oh, we're also doing the Google stream with the teens, too. Anyways, moving on. You believe that as the old man does, you must succeed. Pentegarn continues. The Master, as it calls itself, wow, kind of Doctor Who-y here. So we have Gandalf, Doctor Who-y, all the stuff. The Master, as it calls itself, usually remains in Central Tower between us. In the tower are many halls, caverns, and passageways. They will be guarded by bands of goblins and skeleton, all of whom serve the evil one. Although there are yet a few ways to defeat the evil one, I have a plan. A cube of mystic forces. Is it like the cube in Avengers? The Tesseract, maybe? Maybe I should stop saying all these copywritten things. Just a little bit. A cube of mystic forces and a ring of spell turning hidden in the depths of the dungeon beneath the castle. I do not believe the Master possesses them, yet if we get them, we can stand an excellent chance of success. I don't agree with you, says the elf. Wouldn't it be better to sneak straight through? We can avoid discovery as well as fighting, and perhaps pick up some treasure along the way. Treasure. Me, I'm more in favor of direct approach, says the fighter. I'm the same way. I suggest we move more slowly from the area to the next, fighting when necessary, says the old man. He fastens the gaze upon you. And you, little one, he asks in a soft voice, what do you think? Which of the ways would you like to choose? Me? You stammer. I'm just a kid. I don't know anything. Age has little to do with intelligence, replies the old man. Do not take yourself so lightly. Life advice, folks. Your friends have much to offer. What are your choices? So, here we go again, folks. We have option 1. Choose the old man's course of action, which is, going in slow and steady. You may choose the elf way, which is shiftiness and treasure. Or choose the fighter way, which is destruction and fighting and all that fun stuff. So, then the 4th option, or you may choose your own way. So do you want to, number 1, choose the old man's course and take it slow? Number 2, choose the elf way and get all the treasure. Number 3, do the fightering and, apparently we are already getting treasure. So treasure is our goal. Sneaky Sneakerson. Okay, so we're choosing Sneaky Sneakerson. We're going to turn to page 40. And I will take a quick tea break. Okay, we're doing the Sneaky Sneaks. I think we should follow Lydia's suggestion, you say? Good thinking, kid. I'll show you some fancy sneaking. Follow me. All right, it's already getting good. We're seeing some fancy sneaking. It does seem indeed this course of action may yield favorable results. Although it is not without its own inherent perils, Owl says. You're a wise youngster, says the elf. Her dark green eyes beam approval. How do they beam? Do shoot laser beams out? How does that work? I want to know. The old man looks at you quietly. So be it, he says in an old soft voice. He gestures his hand. Snick, the wall behind them opens into darkness. Come, he says. The die is cast and it is time for us to be upon our way. All of you file past him and enter the darkness. As you leave, the wall slides shut behind you with a very final click. You stand outside, a brisk wind chill whistling about you. Watch it, kid, Fox yaps. Your fingers are pretty nimble, but your feet aren't so hot. More people wanted to do fancy sneaking, of course. Alright, so you look forward and see you're walking a very narrow trail bordering the ruins of the kingdom. The remains of ancient buildings lie to your left, lit here and there by flickering fires. More tongue twisters. Lasers, yes. On your right, you see a sheer fall of the edge of the mountain drops away only a few inches from the path. So here you are. Here's the perilous path we have chosen. And the pillars of Pentegarn in the background. Pentegarn stops and clutches your elbow. There it is, he whispers. Oh, we're coming up upon more choices. So, I just saw the comment of you can go your own way. I'm not going to sing it. This is not karaoke time. Anyways, Pentegarn stops and clutches your elbow. There it is. He whispers, raising a bony finger and pointing up the trail. You see a tall black tower rising high against the night sky. As you study the tower, a terrible howl growls in the wind and hangs in the air. Shivers of terror run down your spine. That is our goal, the old man says. Some of us may not survive our journey into it, but the mission is more important than our lives. Great, says Fox. Listen, kid, I remembered. I've got to rush home. See ya! Bye, Felicia. Anyways, with that, Fox darts away down the trail. Fox has not gone more than 3 seconds before a scream tears through the quiet night. Yowl! Fox, Fox, you cry. Even louder, scream answers your cry. So you have 2 choices. You can rush down the trail into the dark and attempt to rescue a friend. No matter what danger faces you, turn to page 15. Or consider the good of the entire party rather than the feelings for Fox. Turn to page 76. So do we want to, number one, go and rescue Fox, or number two, consider the good, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, whatever the quote is. So what do we want to do, folks? I'll wait. So we want to save Fox. That seems to be the consensus. Follow the fox. Everybody wants to save the fox. Okay. Y'all are going to get us all into doom. Oh, I almost passed the page. Okay. Fox cries echo from rock to rock. That stupid animal will awaken every monster in the kingdom, Pendragon mutters with great exasperation. We'll have to rescue the blasted beast whether we want to or not, he curses. He turns and stops off toward the shrieks. As you start down the mountain, Owl says, I've always warned Fox he doesn't deliberate long enough before he takes action. Haste makes waste, you know? Fox cries grow ever louder as you scramble down the broken piles of stone. Finally, you see two goblins poking at a dark hole with long pikes and a sword. The tip of Fox's tail lies on a rock outside the hole. You hear Fox yelping pitifully inside the hole. Each time he yelps, the goblins laugh loudly and thrust a sword or spike into the hole. Oh no! Without saying a word, Baltic and Lydia sneak up from behind the goblins and dispatch them with two swift strokes. Pendragon drops down, his hands and knees, peering into the hole. Stop your infernal screeching, he orders Fox. Come out here now. A very dejected Fox. We're whipping out the thesaurus today, folks. A very dejected Fox creeps sadly out of the hole, whimpering in pain. He crawls into your arms and curls his squared-off tail under his belly and presses his muzzle under your arm. I hope you learned something, Fox, Pendragon says harshly. We must stick together. Together we stand a fair chance, but alone we are doomed. Doomed! It doesn't actually say he says it like that, but I'm just going to go with it, so... Okay. Even more importantly, we must travel silently. He adds, you're making enough noise to waken the dead. Yes, Fox is saved. As Pendragon speaks, you hear strange clacking coming up from a slope. You must have never heard such a noise before. It sounds like dead trees bumping against each other in a winter wind. Oh no, whispers Lydia, we have awakened the dead. Oh, literally, we have actually done that, apparently. An army of skeleton marches into view. Out from the darkness, each carries a sword and a polearm. Skeleton Patrol, whispers Pendragon. That kind of sounds like it would be a good name for a band, Skeleton Patrol. What do you think? Some of those were my men, brave and true, says Pendragon. But now they are doing answer the bidding of the evil one. We must defeat them or all is life. Lost. All is life? Excuse me. I don't know what was that. Okay. Jamie, pick up a sword, says Baltic. You are not used to battle, but it appears you must fight or die. You take a sword from one of the fallen goblins, and the skeleton advance mechanically and soon reach you. Holding their swords stiffly in front of their bony bodies, they hack and slash continuously. You smash the first skeleton into pieces with one good blow as it comes to striking range. And then here in this page, we can see the goblins. So this must have been when they were going after Fox. Even though you destroy the skeleton, one skeleton after another, they continue to press forward, continuing on their vast numbers to win the battle. Finally, you and Baltic shatter the last two skeletons, and the advance stops. That wasn't so bad, you say? You think not, Jamie? Asked Pendragon, touching a skeleton with his foot. Had they landed a killing blow, you would have become a skeleton in the evil one's service. You're overcome by shaking. How could have you forgotten? Skeleton Troll, Skeleton Troll featuring the evil one at the Music Midtown. Yes. With that, Pentagon leads the way back up the mountain onto the path. You're passing the ruins of an ancient building and nearing a large hole in the ground when you hear a loud outcry from behind you. Looking back, you see a patrol of goblins. You can't just catch a break. They pour down the path along the wall onto the path. Screaming loudly, you may stay and fight or run into the opening and try to lose them. So what do we want to do? Do we want to stay and fight, which is option number 1? Or option number 2, we want to escape. So what do we want to do, folks? While you decide, I'm going to take a little break to sip my tea. We want to fight. Okay. So apparently everybody wants to fight. Good job. Oh, and here you are fighting the skeletons. Yep, so everybody wants to fight. I don't know what that was. Alright, so since we're fighting, we're going to turn to page 10. Okay. The goblins are approaching too fast for you to escape. Hurry, says Pentagon. Follow me. Pentagon leads you to a hill overlooking the path and tells you his plan. The ugly, jabbering creatures all arrive soon. They rush along the narrow path. The hill on Pentagon's signal, or below the hill, on Pentagon's signal, you rise and throw slabs of broken rock down upon the unsuspecting goblins. Scream of terror and rage bursts forth from the foul monsters. They scramble to escape, but the hill is too steep. You continue to hurl rubble down upon their heads. Whee! You burying them all within minutes. We have won this encounter, Pentagon gasps after the last rock is thrown, but appears the passage will not pass unnoticed. Quickly into the cavern. You follow Pentagon into a cavern, and once again you're traveling on a high ledge, this time inside the mountain. Vast numbers of goblins make machines of war in the cavern far below. Oh no! So sounds like they're gearing up for some trouble. Ah, the wee rubble. Yes, the tiny wee rubble. You never have seen so many goblins. All of you stop for a moment, stunned by the terrible sight, as you watch the goblins at the far end of the cavern begin to mill about in fear. Finally, they abandon and run in all directions. A familiar dry clacking noise reaches your ears, and you see the reason for the goblins' panic. A dreadful, deadly precision in marching in blah, 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 blah. Sorry about that. A skeleton patrol, the band comes back, appears marching in dreadful, deadly precision. It makes you feel better to see the goblins scatter in fear. You take advantage of the confusion and hurry along the edge unnoticed. When you each reach the end of the ledge, Pentagon says, we have 2 choices now. See, y'all keep on getting us into trouble. We can sneak through the dungeon trying to avoid detection, or we can approach the tower directly. Which would you prefer? So what do we want to do, folks? Do we want to go into the tower, turn page to 114, or if you want to sneak through the dungeon, turn to page 126. So what are we doing? Are we taking a direct route? Are we going to continue with the sneaky sneakies? Why are you yelling? Because I want to yell. Because you guys always get us into trouble. That's why. So we're doing the sneaky sneaks. Again. Okay. So sneaky sneaks it is. So sneaky sneaky. Finally, maybe we'll avoid some danger. Hey, I'm doing the reading. You can't shush me. I see you in the comments. So we're going to turn to page 126. I'm the narrator. I'm outside the story. I'm taking you on this grand journey. Shush. Turning pages. 126. I almost forgot. You cannot. Okay. Thinking all the scary things you've encountered so far, goblins, the skeleton patrol, the wolves, you say, if there's a chance we can sneak through with literal no danger, I'm for it. Let's go down. Raising, Pentagon size, I've never said the route was safe, but the die is cast, so be it. That's like the second time he said that. He's definitely very exasperated with us. Discount Gandalf has had enough. Raising, he leads the way to the end of the ledge. Through the distant opening at the upper end of the staircase, you see a slice of white moon hanging out in the night sky. On many nights, you have watched the same slice of moon from your bedroom window while lying safe and snug beneath your covers. What am I trying to say? I think I'm just starting to get a little tongue-tied. Pardon me. Anyways... We're lying on the covers. I almost forgot where I was. Forcing your eyes away from the view, you turn to follow Pentagon down into the dungeon. You have seen nothing except a few bats. The air grows cold, damp, and musty. Pentagon's staff grows more dimly. At last, this stairs end, and you find yourself in a passageway. You cannot see the end. Dripping water echoes everywhere, and your footing is slippery. You find it difficult to stand. Over the centuries, dripping water has formed stalactites and stalagmites everywhere. You feel as though you are walking through the teeth of a huge beast. Maybe we are. Who knows? Though you shudder with fear, you bravely control your fear. That's kind of redundant and somewhat contradictory, don't you think? You are ready to confess your fears when a narrow passageway open into a large cavern. A small hole opens to your left, about 20 feet away. I believe this is the secret passage to the tower I spoke of, Pentagon says. Some orcs attempting to invade my castle built it when I was younger. Suddenly you hear goblins raise a ferocious cry. They are here! Catch them! Master want them! You see a mob of goblins, perhaps 50 or more, running toward you out of the large cavern. You are certain you cannot defeat such a large number of them. The only question is, which way do you run? Through the small opening to your right, or straight back upstairs into the night? So what do we want to do? Number one, choose to run for the small opening, even though it's 20 feet from you, or choose to run back up the stairs. So what do we want to do, folks? So we want to run for the small opening, though it is 20 feet away. So it's going to be risky. Run! So we want to run up the stairs? Oh, I think we have a conflicting... So I think we need a couple other votes to... So we say one, so looks like the majority has chosen to go through... Looks like the majority, though, has chosen to go through the smaller opening that is 20 feet away. So we're going to page 56. All right. Well, looks like we're going to end up having another choice quickly. Quick, says Pentagon, run for that hole. You run as fast as you can, Pentagon lagging behind. You reach the hole ahead of the goblins and plunge through the black fog as a black fog rises in the large cavern behind you. Lydia tumbles through next. She screams, "Bats! I hate bats!" You help her beat a dozen ugly bats away. Hey, those bats are just living their life. Yes, we are living dangerously. Finally, Baltic jumps through the holes. Pentagon, you ask. Baltic shakes his head. We have to rescue him, you say quickly. I'm for it. Let's get him, Baltic urges. Not so fast, Lydia says. I think we better use our brains and not our brawn. So, winged puppies. Yes, bats are winged puppies. So, here we go again, folks. Another choice. if you want to do as Lydia suggests, turn to page 54. Or if you don't believe you have the time to save Pentagarn, or if you don't have time to set up a trap and want to go after Pentagarn, immediately turn to page 107. So what do we want to do? Do we want to do as Lydia suggests, which is use our brains, or do we want to try to set a trap and try to go after Pentagarn immediately? What do we want to do? One or two? I don't know what I'm doing. Brain! Finally, some thinky. Yes, that's the scientific term, thinky. So, we're using our... No, sorry, majority rules. We're using our brains this time. No traps. So, we're going to use our brains. We're turning to page 54. With that black fog, I don't think we stand a chance. We just want chaos. No chaos for you. With that black fog, I don't think we stand a chance. I think we had better try to lure them in here. My thoughts exactly, Lydia says. Here's my plan. You listen to her plan and put it into action quickly. Lydia jumps out of the hole, leading a tiny tunnel, and screams, "What's the matter, Tiny Tots? Afraid to fight? I don't think this is gonna go well." She's calling nasty goblins and skeleton Tiny Tots. Okay. Afraid to fight, she climbs back into the small tunnel immediately. Just as you would hope, several goblins follow her. You and Baltic quickly dispatch them. After a short time, more goblins enter the hole, and they too meet their doom. Doom! But no more. Finally, Goblin calls. Morg, come out. Don't play games with me, Morg. Gorg? What? Oh, I got a little mixed up. But no more come. Finally, a goblin calls. Morg, come out. Don't play games with Gorg. I see. I misread there. When no one comes, Gorg calls. Gorg patrol, go now, leave Heavy Man, for you carry. Take his stuff to master. You learn playing games with Gorg. Hearing these words, you and Baltic wait for the goblins and leave and step into the large room. Pentagarn lies on the ground, bound and gagged. See? We used our brains, but we still managed to save Discount Gandalf. You quickly free him. His cloak is in tatters. He has been stripped of everything of value he carried. Did they get everything? You ask. Pentagarn nods his head. Everything except my staff. Good. You always want a wizard to hang on to his staff. They left that over there. He points toward the far side of the cavern. They thought it was a worthless stick. He looks broken-hearted, and once again his face assumed the look of an old man. We shall have to try another way. The evil one expects us by this entrance. Give me my staff, please, he says. Rising, you fetch the staff and give it to Pentagarn. As soon as you hand it to him, his face loses some of its age. He appears to grow a little stronger. Is this staff magical too? I don't know why. I kind of thought about that meme with the butterfly. Is this a magical staff? Pentagarn nods. Yes, but it is not as powerful as the Staff of Kings. Wow, we got a lot of dramatic things in this book. Building a magical staff takes years, Jamie, and requires the wisdom and learning of many wise men. This staff, he says, holding the small sapling out for you to see, is much like you. It is just the beginning of its life and has much to learn, and it can accomplish a simple task, but we must take control and care not to demand too much of it. Now come, it is time for us to continue. He walks back to the stairs with you, and the rest of your party, following after a long climb, stand outside looking at a black tower in the distance. That is our destination, says Pentagarn. So we're going back to page 12. It's kind of hard to keep track of which pages we have been on at this point. Okay. Gather about me closely, Pentagarn says. Everyone hold on to my cloak. Jamie, tuck Fox inside your shirt. Owl, hold on. Pentagarn closes his eyes and whispers some magic words. You look down at your legs to discover you're no longer stand on the edge. You're floating in midair. Whee! We're flying. Great Zorn! Exclaims Baltic. Pentagar's eyes remain closed and continues to murmur words you do not understand. His staff points at the top of the tower, which is growing ever close. You close your eyes, not daring to look down. After what seems to be like an eternity of flying, you bump into the top of the tower. As soon as your feet touch the roof of the tower, Pentagarn collapses. All the strength seems to have left his body, and you rush to his side, gasping. Pentagarn, are you all right? Don't die. You rush to, or his eyes flicker open and rest on your face. What would you care so much, Jamie? He pauses. Don't worry. I rest for a moment, but it'll be all right. I'm glad you care, and perhaps this time you can tell me something very important.
I saw that thing I saw at night.
Have you never wondered why you have abilities others do not, such as speaking with animals? You do not feel the kinship we first met? You think back, realize all Pentagarn says is true. You nod your head. Pentagarn continues. The blood of kings and queens runs in your veins. I'm your great-grandfather. Gasp! I have little to offer you the knowledge of your heritage, but we live through this. I would have you become my apprentice. When we recover the staff, we will have much to learn, for one day it will be yours. Your eyes water, and you're near tears when Lydia screams suddenly, Baltic! Where's Baltic? I'm sorry, guys. My nephew kind of popped into the room. I'm working, casting this from home, so don't mind me. Leaping to your feet, look about wildly. Baltic is gone. The only thing on the roof other than yourself is a trapdoor now lying open. You see a ladder leading down to the opening. An elf rushes over to the ladder. He left us! He left us! So we become Budget Danville? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. He's gone off on his own. He'll take all the treasure. She's got priorities. She climbs over the edge of the hole and darts down the ladder. No, Lydia, you scream, tugging on her arm. Come back. We have to discuss this. All right, we're getting close to another choice. And then probably in about 10 minutes, we'll need to wrap this up. So I think after this decision, we'll have to start wrapping up the live stream. What is there to discuss? That accursed son of Zorn has gone off on his own. Wow. And he'll get everything before we do. Lydia, calm down. He's our fighter. Maybe he's gone to check things out. I'm the thief, flashes Lydia. If anyone checks things out, it should be me, not that big, clumsy, muscle-bound Cloud. She does not like Baltic. Lydia, even if he did find treasure, it's not likely he could or would just walk out the front door with it. He'll be back. We mustn't run off in different directions. Our only chance is to win. It's to strike together. Tell that to Muscle Brain, mutters the elf. But if she comes back up the ladder, she sits with a flump at Pentagar's feet. I still think we shouldn't go after him, snarls should go after him, snarls Lydia. If he's not robbing us, he'll need our help. So what do we want to do? Do we want, number one, think you should go back after Baltic? Or number two, think you should wait for Baltic to return? Gandalf. Oh, I see, Gandalf. So what do we want to do, folks? Do we want to get Baltic, or do we want to just wait for him? We want to wait. So thus far, the judgment is we want to wait. So what does everybody else say? So I think we're just waiting. Okay. So one says get. So we're kind of at an impasse. So we have one wait, one forget. So I need one more to wait. So we want to wait. Well, I guess we're waiting for Baltic. All right. Forget him. He ran off ahead, right? Turning to page 72. Yeah, we're waiting for him. Forget him. Bye, Felicia. You sit in silence for a long time. Finally, you hear noises at the foot of the ladder. Lydia draws her dagger and you pull out your sword. Pentagorn stumbles to his feet and leans heavy upon his staff. You hear heavy breathing, and then a head and shoulders appear. Lydia screeches, "It's Baltic!" No, he seems to already come back, so we've already waited, so we're not going to go get him. He's already come back. "It's Baltic!" "That big dog? Wow, she really does not like him. Better not have any treasure. Come on, lady." Oh, I have a lag. I'm sorry about that. Baltic pulls himself onto the tower roof. Blood oozes from a small cut from his forehead. "Sorry to keep you waiting," he says. "Did you find any gold?" demands Lydia. She has serious priorities. "I only made it to the second room," he answers. "I climbed into a goblin ambush." He draws a sword and runs his finger along the edge. "But I finished them off before you go. You could say Baltic the Great." I finished them off before you could say Baltic the Great. "Did you get all of them?" Fox asks. "Well," Baltic hesitates. "One did sneak away, but he was bashed up pretty good." "Great," Lydia snaps. "Now the evil one knows we're coming." "He knew we're coming anyways," Pentagorn says. "He knows to fear us. Let's give him what's more to fear. Let's give him more to fear. Yeah, we're gonna give him more to fear. Yeah." With that, he leads the way down the ladder into the tower. You cross one empty room and climb down another ladder into a room full of dead goblins. The scene is impressive indeed. At least 20 dead goblins lie scattered throughout the chamber. As you study the scene, the most terrifyingly laugh you ever heard rolls through the opening leading into another room. Baltic stares down the ladder first, but as soon as his head disappears, you hear a mighty scream of fear. Baltic's head reappears immediately, followed by the rest of his body. "There are no more skeletons down there than any graveyard," he says. "Let's get out of here." Who knows when we're sleeping? Okay. Wait. What, are we making a commentary like somebody's Santa? I'm confused. "Let's get out of here," Lydia screeches. "But we're so close," Pentagorn sighs. "It seems a pity to leave now. It's better to leave than try another route. But to wait those fellows to get us," Baltic says. So we're getting close on time, so I'm not sure if we have time for another choice. So I might actually have to wrap it up here. So I guess, but the other choices we would have had is if we want to turn back up the ladder and get off the tower for the skeletons to catch us, turn to page 20. But you think you can make your stand to defeat the skeleton. So I think we have about 5 more minutes. So maybe we can get one choice in. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Do we want to wrap it up here, or do we want to continue? I think there's still a bit of lag. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here because we're getting close to the end of the program. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for bearing with the technical difficulties that I had at the beginning. I know, but it's an hour-long program, so we've neared the end. Thank you for bearing with me and all the technical difficulties. Let's buy some skeleton shoes. Okay. I hope you had a lot of fun. If you want to do this again, comment below if this is something you would like the library continue to do. Oh, one more. We have 5 minutes. I don't think we have time for one more. I'm sorry. But thank you everybody for joining me. Keep posted for more events on the library's Facebook. Like I said, if we want to do this again sometime, we can. Maybe we can pick up where we left off, or we can do a different adventure book. So there's a lot of options. I hope you're all doing well. Take care. Again, thank you for bearing with my technical difficulties. And a tiny goblin attack. Lol. It's been a lot of fun. Bye!